is hot, 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 both here in the UK and over there in Italy for the San Marino Grand Prix. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Tissot Sprint for the 12th time this season. It is going to be an epic race as well. Let's hear straight away, though, from Maverick Vinales. He's down the grid with Michael Laverty.
Can you repeat that impressive feat?
I will try. Not easier here, but our objective is to be in the front battling. We have the guys, we have many good laps to study them. And after that, we're going to try to do the best. So we're going to push, and we're going to see and get a good information for tomorrow.
Good luck, Maverick.
How do you rate his chances, Neil?
Strong, really strong. Loves this track. It's a strange track. Not a lot of people love it. Some think it's okay. Maverick loves it. Got his last Grand Prix win here on the Yamaha. Again, I don't want to sound boring. It's going to come down to the start more so than ever with Maverick. You know what he's like. If he gets a mediocre start, it sort of tenses up on that first lap. He works his way backward. If he can get a good launch, he's every chance. If he can lead it, he can win it. I don't think he'll lead it because the Aprilia, it's improved its starts, but it's nothing quite like those Ducatis. So for him to lead it from the second row, I can't see it's possible.
Let's mention the third row of the grid then. And on the third row, we've got Marc Marquez, Luca Marini, and we've also got Brad Binder. Of those three, you would say perhaps what? Luca Marini has the advantage with his knowledge of this track?
No, I would say Binder. I think Binder here with the tyre wear and the way he starts as well with the KTM. I think Binder has got a chance to do something good. We know Binder is a raceman, you know, he always comes through in the races and he starts really well as well. For Marini, the whole weekend has not been ideal so far. I was expecting him because he kind of like lives here. He's second home on this track with all the VR46 boys. I would have thought he would have been a little bit better, but so far he's falling behind Bezek, his teammate, and struggling a little bit.
Well, there's a lot to go on as well, and just turned up in the commentary box, just getting all set up is Julia as well. Nice to have you back, and here she is. Hello, Julia. Nice to have you back on the broadcast this weekend, just for the sprint. But how you doing? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I'm honestly so happy to be back, and thanks for having me once again.
Pleasure as always as well. Wish you could do a couple more, but you're always so busy nowadays as well with all the online blog writing as well. But yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. What have you made of it so far then? The news coming around that Marc Marquez, as we talked about actually at the Dutch TT, he's now looks like he is leaving Honda, but not going to KTM, but Grenache is a possibility. Has that caught you by surprise?
A little, I must say, yeah, definitely. Especially, maybe not the Gresini rumors itself, but the fact that there are even rumors that he's trying to buy the team or part of the team, just like Valentino Rossi did, and then that he's taking all the sponsors with him, that Repsol will leave with him, Estella Galicia, and Red Bull and everything. That would be just a terrible for Honda, because not they're losing the 8-time world champion and absolute MotoGP legend, but they are losing half of their sponsors, the biggest sponsor in whole Spain and in motorsport world. So honestly, if it's gonna be true and we're gonna get a final announcement that Marquez is going to Gresini to his brother, first, on the Ducati, he's leaving Honda, which I think that part won't surprise anyone, especially how Honda, for example, treated Takashimi this weekend and just pulled him out without even giving him a chance to try to qualify for the race, not for the sprint. And then taking all the sponsors with him, leaving Honda honestly kind of barrelless, with Joan Mir not being really keen on staying as well. This would be a true tragedy and a kick in the butt for Honda, you know?
Absolutely, and Honda have been a bit, I don't want to say it, but not pathetic, but they've been clutching a lot of straws this weekend as well. They brought in the Suzuka 8-hour winner of Tomohiro Takashai, and unfortunately he couldn't even qualify for the event as well. And this is somebody who has won 8-hour at Suzuka earlier on in the year, very experienced motorcycle rider over in Japan, very, very quick, and even he can't ride this Honda, and he's not allowed to take the start. They brought him in to replace Alex Rins, but Rins has already said, I'm off, I'm leaving. He's off to Yamaha next year. It's just, it's like they are sinking completely, and nobody can stop it.
Yeah, it completely looks like that. Especially they couldn't break Iker Lecuona this weekend because he's in World SBK in Manicure for his own races because he has his own contract. For example, also for HRC, but in World SBK they're definitely doing better there. And you know, this is interesting what Honda is gonna do because I talked to Iker Lecuona and Misano and John, and he seems would be really excited to go back to the GP, you know. He was really excited, but when I asked him about this idea, he loves World SBK, he loves the team and everyone in there. It's like a big family with journalists, press officers and the rest, but he loves MotoGP bikes. And this which is kind of funny considering that I talked in Misano for the World SBK in Jan, we are in Misano again, and we are thinking who could go to Honda. And honestly, bringing Lecuona would be their best options now if he's gonna agree, of course. Because this may be a sinking ship for him again, just how KTM treated him in 2020 and 2021. But this is really a thing to see. Honda is a really bad situation in MotoGP, and it's hard to say what's gonna help them, you know, especially when you said the 8-hour Suzuka race winner this year, also with Xavi Vierge and the rest Honda guys, because the guys from Superbikes also starts in Suzuka 8 hours, and we must say that Xavi Vierge and Iker Lecuona are also winners of Suzuka 8 hours. They come to MotoGP and they can't handle this bike. Iker Lecuona somehow, and I'm really impressed by what he can do on that bike, to be honest. He's doing better on LRC than on Honda, on Repsol Honda, but this is another case. And then there is a great rider, Japanese rider, used to being in Honda, winning in Honda this really hard race, and he can do this qualifying limit of time.
We're all set then. I've got loads of questions to ask you during the sprint race, but it's time to gear up as we look at the front row. Bagnaia managing to get through despite just 7 days ago having a motorcycle run over his leg. Bezzecchi second, Martin third. Here he comes then. Sit back and enjoy. It's the MotoGP sprint. For the 12th time in 2023, it's time to go sprinting. And today it could mean a little bit more. Jorge Martin on pole position for the first time this year. He's won 2 previous sprints. Can he do it again? Marco Bezzecchi alongside him on the front row of the grid. And Pecco Bagnaia, amazingly, starting third. Maverick Vinales is fourth from Dani Pedrosa, surprising everybody. Why is he not back full time? Top KTM. Then it's Aleix Espargaro 6th, Brad Binder 7th, Luca Marini 8th, Marc Marquez impressively in 9th position at a circuit he won at 12 months ago. Then we get Miguel Oliveira, followed by Alex Marquez and Raul Fernandez. Then it's Fabio Quartararo, Michele Pirro ahead of Stefan Bradl, Johan Zarco, Gusto Fernandez, Jack Miller 18th so far down, Franco Morbidelli, Takiki Nakagami, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Johan Mir and Paul Espargaro allowed to start. Julia, we've got to start with that question. Why isn't Dani Pedrosa on the bike full time? He's completely outqualified both Miller and Binder. I can't explain it.
I was just about to say that someone give Dani Pedrosa a permanent contract or give him his own team, because honestly I would say he can manage it all, to be honest. He deserves even his own team after all these years.
I agree with you.
Especially years of Honda.
Yeah. That battling he had as well, both with one at time in Casey Stone and then, was it 7 seasons, Mark?
This is one of the athletes who deserved a world championship so bad, but there's always circumstances that prevented him from doing so. So honestly, yeah, someone should give Danny Pedrosa a permanent contract because he's one of the greatest riders. He can just come after not being here for the whole season with a white card. And honestly, like in Jerez, the last time, we were thinking, is Danny Pedrosa able to win this race? We see a wild card rider who hasn't been in this championship from the beginning of 2019 permanently, who was, he was a great rider, but he hadn't been here for 4 years. He's coming with the white card, and we are wondering if he can win. When we not always wondering about that for KTM at all, to be honest. So I think it says it all, and I also love these little moments between Mark and Danny, and it really reminds me of this old times when I was starting to watch MotoGP, and Mark and Danny were still teammates.
I remember it all too well. So when I started watching and doing the commentary on it as well back in, 2012 and 2013? But still, all eyes ready for this one. An all Ducati front row, 3 different versions of the Ducati there. Prima Pramac on pole, Mooney VR46 on home soil, literally, alongside here. And then the Ducati Lenovo with their factory around about 12 miles up the road. Ready for 13 laps and looking for some at the Mazzano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli, 5 lights are on. Lights out, and it's a good start, and there's a stall on the grid. Is that Franco Morbidelli? Haven't seen that in a very long time.
Looks like it's Franco Morbidelli, but Jorge Martin is away really nicely. He's definitely leading to first corner, and Bagnaia is through on Bezzecchi as well.
Yeah, Bezzecchi's been forced out wide. Look at Pedrosa coming through. He's going to try and go out the outside for 3rd position. That KTM has got much more traction.
Pedrosa is going really hard on Bezzecchi. Yeah, he's definitely hunting down. He's looking for an opportunity to overtake him, but there are also the rest of the KTMs really, really close, and the Aprilias, wow. Definitely Martin with the best outcome, and Bagnaia as well, but then there is Bezzecchi, Pedrosa, and the rest of the riders already in a second group, to be honest.
And Marc Marquez nearly had contact with Luca Marini, as we see now down to the position. That's Marini getting ahead, no jump starts. Quadraro did go up 2 places, now he's down to 13th once again. Martin leads by 3.5 tenths of a second to Bezzecchi. Then we get, Bagnaia second, then Bezzecchi's down in 3rd position. Pedrosa was briefly up, now the timing screen's glitching out like crazy, trying to work it out as they come up towards the most fearsome section of the track into turns 13, 14 and 15 that really just throw you in, don't they, Julia, as well? We've seen so many riders go down here across all forms of motorsport. It's just a hard part of the track to get right.
Yeah, definitely. This part of the track is really hard for riders to get by, and when you are also on the Misano track, if you ever have an opportunity, I recommend it to everyone. If you're gonna see someone crash, there's a big chance it's gonna be this part of the crash, and you can see it very well. Or Turn 8, which is the view from Media Center. Yeah, this track is just special, and here we see Jorge Martin absolutely rocking it for now, already pulling away from Bagnaia just a little bit, but for now it's enough to hold it. When Bezzecchi is getting closer on Bagnaia, there is Pedrosa, Vinales and Aleix Espargaro are also close. Jorge Martin is now there with the best outcome and the best gap.
So much intrigue as they come into it. Aleix Espargaro up into 6th position, and side by side there goes Binder. Ooh, Mark was just getting forced out there, wasn't he, Julie? Mark does not look comfortable on this bike. Great getting into Q2, but he said all weekend long, I can't ride this bike at this track. It's just impossible.
Yeah, definitely. This is absolutely impossible for him. And to be honest, I think it says on how Honda bad is right now. Being that Marc Marquez was the only Honda rider in Q2, and also the fact that everyone was impressed with the job he'd done, and he's a great champion, and he is pulling on Marini. Wow, that's great job on their side. He's just pulling away from Marquez, and it means for him also getting on the rest of the riders. Great job. But coming back to Mark, everyone's been impressed with him getting a P9 and being in Q2 when he's a great champion who was supposed to be winning every race like we've seen in 2019. So I think it says it all on how bad Honda is, that we admire Marc Marquez for being able to ride on this bike at all.
Let's take a replay. This is at the top 3, coming down to the long loop section. And is that Bagnaia going wide? It was, and down at turn 10, and Bezzecchi has taken 2nd position. So that's something we didn't pick up on the TV cameras until now. And there we see, that's Vinales ahead of Binder, as you said, Julia. Great double move on Marini and Aleix Espargaro. Vinales has been given the track limits warning, but look, that's Binder so hauled in with Vinales and come down towards turn 3 and 4, and he's just sliding the bike everywhere. Predictably, most of the field gone for soft rear tyres, along with hard fronts, side by side. That's brave.
Very racing.
And Binder was trying to send it around the outside. Here comes Luca Marini. Go on.
Marini is definitely using the situation right now.
Mark.
Is Marcus trying to get in, and he is doing it. And Marcus is also through.
Gets ahead of Alicia Spargo, tries to cut back, but Mark has better exit speed, so Mark goes into 8th position. Binder under pressure now from Marini. As look at the front, Martin's got 0.6 of a second. Look at that though, 1:31.645 for Marco Bezzecchi. It's been a weekend of track limits, track records being broken.
Let's take a look. I do think and I do believe that Dani Pedrosa is getting closer to Pecco Bagnaia.
Yes, you're right.
That's how it looked like from this camera on the drone. That's how it looked like. That he's getting closer. And this is getting interesting. And here is Alex Marquez getting on his brother right now.
And yet, Mark was forced wide. He tried to go around the outside of Aleix. Aleix forced him out, and that opened the door to that wonderful retro livery on the Grenesci this weekend, throwing back as well to the 1980s as well as they're coming to the braking zone for turn 1 once again. And there's just, as there always is in a sprint race, so much chaos. There's the front, and you are right, looking behind, Pedrosa is closing down on Bagnaia, but there's no change at the front. Now, only ones on medium rear tyre are Fabio Quartararo and Franco Morbidelli. So the two Yamahas taking a slightly harder compound at the rear, but it didn't help because Morbidelli stalled on the grid. I've never seen that before. And a rider failing to get away on the grid.
Me too. I haven't seen that in a long time in MotoGP. At least in World Superbikes, this is more frequent. At least, it's still very rare, but you can see it more in delayed starts or something that happens in World Superbikes mostly. But I gotta say that I don't quite get the what Yamaha was thinking in putting on harder tires when they both didn't get out of Q2. And I believe this is the sprint. And this track is not as terrible for the tires as Barcelona or Red Bull Ring Car. So I think if they're already down, I would take the risk to put them on a softer compound to try to get as many positions as they can. Maybe fight for the points at least that possible, because I think it could be possible. It's always something for them, and to get the riders in the mindset that they can at least fight for something.
Absolutely, because Quartararo started 13th. He's now down to 14th place. And Morbidelli, of course, was right behind him. He's dropped down to 18th after stalling on the grid. But Michele Pirro has surprised me a lot here. Really bad getaway. Down to 23rd place as Aleix Espargaro and Marc Marquez have been given track limits warnings from race control. So that's what's been flashing up on the timing monitor. So they will get one more chance before a long lap. We saw that this morning in Moto E with Jordi Torres getting 2, but for jumping the start. No one's improving.
Yeah, that's very early. That is very early for track warning limits, especially in the sprint when we have a lot of chaos going on. Now they really have to watch themselves, and let's be honest, for the hard fighting that we've seen already from Aleix and Mark is not doing a really good job.
Down to the braking zone for turn 8 then, and that's very wide down through Acuenta. That was from Maverick Vinales. Binder was trying to get through, sits the front of the KTM up as well to try and get the traction down. He's going to lay on the brakes and that catch. Wow, he caught Vinales napping. Binder's gone in too deep. That's going to allow Vinales through, and now he's side by side with Luca Marini, but Binder gets the traction. That KTM is good, but it didn't look steady, did it?
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen absolutely Binder, getting over Marini to try to save his position. This attack was very brave on his side, I gotta say. It didn't work out too well because he went wide, but then he was able to get on Marini and get over him. Kinda reminded me of Speedway moves, because that's what they did when trying to get their position there, just going in front of the other rider. They don't care about anything in the world, and that's kind of how Binder's racing, and he got this position back, and probably we'll see him soon trying to get ahead of Vinales once again.
Yarmir's been given a long lap penalty. He's down in 22nd place anyway, so that's his race done. Julia, you've been to this track, as Binder's going to have another go this time on Vinales down towards turn 4. He's got a better traction. Vinales has got him covered off there. Binder's throwing that round, as you say, like a speedway bike. He's twisting the front wheel to get it in as well. Bagnaia now given track limits warning. Binder just came in like a ton of bricks.
Wow.
You've been to this track there, Julia.
He just went through like a rocket.
And he's gone in again in the braking zone down to Acuenta at turn 8, so he's through.
Yeah. He did for this time. Vinales is being close, but he can't can't pull it off for now. This was really well done now by Binder.
So you've been to this track multiple times as well, haven't you? A very long drive, I remember you telling me as well. You did the road trip. What's it like then in terms of the atmosphere? Because it's home of Valentino Rossi, home of Ducati. It must be like constant party town.
It is a constant party town. It doesn't matter if it's MotoGP or if it's World Superbikes. This is a constant party town. Unless of course I'm there for World Superbikes. I honestly met some riders, and this is Valentino Rossi we've mentioned. I honestly also seen many riders there in Misano and just walking by them and saying hi, and all the teams. So this is a great atmosphere. These people in Misano live from motorcycle racing. When I got to my hotel, which is mostly like a hotel and apartment building, when I got an apartment, the owner had all the photos of Ducati riders and Valentino Rossi on their walls, and they absolutely know everything about racing. The whole town is decorated in posters for World Superbikes or MotoGP. You could literally walk through Misano, sit close to the beach, and then you had a little version of Valentino Rossi's Yamaha's bike, ready for children to take photos. And you go to the supermarket and you meet team members. This is like a home of racing. This is the heart of racing in Italy.
It's a fantastic circuit. I just wish it was the Italian Grand Prix, not the San Marino Grand Prix, even though we all love Mugello. This place as an Italian Grand Prix would be awesome once again. It hasn't been that since the late 80s, and then they changed the circuit, of course. We used to go the other way round, and now it was anti-clockwise, now it's clockwise. In terms of the championship, though, not much damage with Martin winning this one. It brings it down to 45, but I want to get your thoughts, Julie, on a week ago when we saw that high side for Bagnaia. I was for sure he had broken his leg and he was out of it, and it's such a violent accident. No injury. He's limping a bit, but now he's still in the race. He's P3 in the sprint. How is he keeping his championship alive? He is the new Terminator.
By miracle, to be honest. I do think, and I think everyone else agree, if we're looking for a miracle in this world, a true miracle, we had to see that Pecco Bagnaia, after being rolled over, doesn't have any broken bone. That is a true miracle in racing, as we can say. Because when something like it would happen, and mostly I've seen it happening in different racing series, it always ended with a broken leg. So I have no idea how it happened. And here the two brothers getting around with each other, maybe future teammates, who knows? And it's Alex Marquez going on through his brother Mark right now.
I want them back as teammates. They only had a year, and even that wasn't really working, was it? Because Mark was off half of it.
In the end, they literally had one race, half of the race together. So I was really excited to see them race in one team, and then we had only half of the race when we could see that. And I was really believed, and I do believe that if we had seen them as a teammate, Alex Marquez would meet all the, the tips from Mark on his bike. But when Mark wasn't there and he wasn't riding a bike, it wasn't just useful for him. So I would be really curious and happy to see that. Now we see Jorge Martin, whose gap over Bezzecchi is not really that big. And something I think happened, we'll see it here.
Super slow-mo on the brakes.
Yeah.
It's one of these Dorna things, isn't it, where they're nice to go super slow on us and not actually give us racing action. It's a sprint, not a Grand Prix. Right, across the line, there's Martin, there's Bezzecchi, 7/10. It's remained consistent throughout this race. But look at that for Danny Pedrosa.
Look at Pedrosa.
Come on, Danny.
Look at Pedrosa, because he is close to Bagnaia. It's not like he's hanging off his rear wheel, but this is close, and this is the lane that may lead to an attack on this lap or the next.
Won his last main Grand Prix, didn't he, Danny Pedrosa? Back at Honda in 2017, I want to say. He retired in the end of 17, didn't he? Oh, or was it 18? I can't remember.
He retired at the end of 2018,
right,
and in his last race he was 7th.
Right. See, that's why I need you, because I have no idea.
I do believe he was 7th in his last race, but I don't remember if it was one of the Spanish Grand Prix, and I'm not really sure. I would have to check it, but that's what I remember. But 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's literally just throw a dart at the wall to see if you hit anything near it at this point. But that is Danny Pedrosa proving he's lost nothing since the end of 2018 as he's fighting now on that KTM, really riding the bumps of Mazzano well, and he is 0.2 of a second off the pace of Bagnaia right now. That's doable in 5 laps, and knowing Bagnaia, he's going to be extra cautious if we see Pedrosa go for the move. Bagnaia is now thinking long term. He doesn't want to have any more injuries.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, as Alvaro Bautista says, he's not trying to, for example, be focused on him defending the World Superbike titles, as I talked to Alvaro Bautista about that, that he has to think about everything separately. But I think that at this moment, Pecco Bagnaia, which I always think that thinking separately about all the races is better, right now with being injured, I think, and I do believe Bagnaia has a little thought at the back of his head that there is still championship to go and that he has a gap in this championship, because if he's gonna go full in like Marquez would do when he's injured, I don't think it would end well for him. And also Bagnaia and Marquez and Bautista are little different riders.
Speaking of Ducati, Bastianini is of course out of it. The rumour is he's not going to be back for at least 3 races with those injuries. Bautista, could he come back in as well? Or is that a possibility to bring him in? He's wrapping up, isn't he, nearly at Manicourt? 3 races, isn't he? He's doing it Superbikes.
Yeah, he's doing great, but it was literally a World Superbike race right before the MotoGP sprint, and he almost fell off his bike. He had to give up on riding, and he was last with 10-second gap on the last rider, and until the end of the race, he got to P10.
Wow. That's just... He's insanely quick.
Great riding. We were thinking for a moment that Toprak, who won, Toprak Razgatlioglu, is going to get 25 points on Bautista in the championship fight. This man rode to P10, and it's only a few points that Toprak got over Bautista. I don't think for now that Bautista would move to MotoGP, or maybe if Ducati would propose him with a factory ride in the factory team, then it's hard to say what Bautista would decide on. But yeah, if they give him that, there will be a chance. If not, I believe that he would prefer to stay in World Superbikes for now with this great bike he has right now. It all depends on what would Ducati MotoGP would offer him. He's getting a new teammate, of course, next season. Nicola Bulega, who is now in World Supersports. There is Rinaldi free on the market. This is Pedrosa?
Yeah.
Oh, he was trying, but Bagnaia is still through.
Bagnaia went in so deep. Sorry to interrupt you. I thought for a second Pedrosa got the undercut. He hadn't. Morbidelli's long lap penalty, double long lap now. And Mia's got 1 for not doing the long lap penalty, so he's got 2 as well. But Pedrosa's closing in again. I'll throw it back to you, Julia.
But we got to mention that Rinaldi, who was today fighting with Toprak Razgatlioglu, and he he was fighting for the win, and he was holding off Toprak Razgatlioglu, is free on the market because of that.
Oh yeah.
Rinaldi does not have a seat for the next year.
There'll be a seat open up anywhere. I would hope that he get a seat as well. It's not fair to let them go out as MotoGP like to do.
It sounds better, but I'm also thinking about Axel Bazzani, who was beaten Michael Rinaldi on a track many times this season and last season, and he was counted on the factory Ducati ride for that, because now he is in private team on Ducati, and he is being guided by Nicola Bulega from World Supersport. So we'll see what's gonna happen in Bassani and all the moves getting on. Ray moving from Kawasaki earlier than he was supposed to, because he has a contract. He's breaking the contract and moving to Yamaha right now.
Cheap contract,
he was talking how he's working with the team to get the better bike in Misano when we talked. So, this is all drama. And he's Pedrosa trying to attack Bagnaia right now.
Oh, and he's leaving himself vulnerable to Binder.
All this fighting, I was just about to say, is benefiting Binder, who's getting closer on both of them.
Oh, I don't want Binder to do it. I'm sorry, but let Danny have the bronze. Come on. Bagnaia's riding injured.
I think every one of us is feeling that. And there's long club penalty for Fernandez.
Track limits. We're going to see that a lot tomorrow as well. They can't even stay on the track 3 times within 12 laps. How are they going to do it?
Track limit is something really normal for Misano.
Danny,
with all these big curves. Yeah, and,
Binder.
you know,
Go on.
I think all of us would like to see Dani Pedrosa being on the podium. Doesn't matter if it's sprint or it's gonna be Grand Prix tomorrow. We would love to see that. That we are kind of hoping that there is a way of him of getting.
He's going for it!
And he's trying.
Pedrosa's going for it on the inside. Oh, and yes, Bagnaia shuts the door. No. Come on, it's the last lap. Get it, let him through. Bagnaia wants the points.
I do believe he's gonna try it. He's gonna try to go on Bagnaia again because this is his last chances.
And look at Binder sliding out the front. He almost dropped it into turn 4. And Bagnaia losing out the rear as well over the curb. Pedrosa's going to have the better exit down towards turn 8 and a Quenta. He's going to literally shaking the bike. He's going for it on the inside line. No. Does Bagnaia run
he's
deep?
a little too far away for now. He's got to get closer to get that move done for sure. And not with any complications, you know. But this is a little bit over the half of the lap left. And he's really close, and he's gonna try. I think he's gonna try, but he's a little far away for now, and now Bagnaia gonna pull off of him on the straight.
3 times the sprint winner about to be for Jorge Martin, but it's the battle for third we're watching, and Binder's gonna have an attack on Pedrosa as well, who had a wiggle over the curbs. It looks like it's all gone away, and Binder's gonna think about it, picks it up, doesn't want to do it. Pedrosa's going to have to settle for 4th place. Bagnaia will be 3rd, but it's across the line out of the last corner. Jorge Martin maximises the first part of the weekend with his 3rd sprint win of the year. Bezzecchi 2nd, Bagnaia 3rd, Dani Pedrosa, you stand up and applaud.
And Binder 5th. Wow, what a top 5, to be honest. Ducatis and KTMs, and the wild card on KTM.
Dani Pedrosa deserves a main seat right now. He's just outperformed.
Oh, definitely. He does. He completely does. Of course, we don't know if he would like that, to be honest, but he definitely deserved that. And let's take a look, because Binder was there. Pedrosa is the best rider with a white card. He's got a wild card, and he's the best rider on KTM this weekend. Where is Miller?
Miller's down in 17th.
Yeah, Miller, compare it to Pedrosa and to Binder, just almost doesn't exist to us this weekend because we almost don't see him. He's there, but he's not doing the job that we would expect from KTM, especially when we see 2 KTM's riders doing so good. So what's wrong? What happened to Jack Miller that he couldn't do that?
There's a rumour going around that Miller's not going to be on the bike next year. He's going to have 10.
I heard that as well.
Yeah, 10 wild cards, but Pedro Costa will be on the bike. Wrong decision in my book. Completely wrong.
It's hard to say. I do believe, and also that KTM has a thing of Russian, and they did that to Remy Gardner and Ralph Fernandez in the last season, and we've seen how it went. They really were keen on getting, especially Ralph Fernandez, to the MotoGP class because Yamaha wanted to get him and to get him from KTM. They pushed Fernandez to get to MotoGP. He did bad on that KTM Tech 3. Also Gardner, who was a world champion in Moto2, couldn't do a lot. Gardner moved to Yamaha GRT and Wortes became super happy. I talked to him. I have an interview with him published in English this year from Misano. He's super happy there. Doesn't look really keen on going back to MotoGP now. And Ralph Fernandez saved his ride in MotoGP by going to RNF Aprilia. Had a bad start of the season, really bad races, but for the last time he's doing really good. And I do hope that this is the rise of Ralph Fernandez we've seen in Moto2.
Best of the weekend so far, wasn't he, for Ralph Fernandez, but ahead of Oliveira to come through. Let's take a look then. Look at that. Jorge Martin just doesn't know what to do. He's so happy that he's won.
Yeah, he's the fastest this weekend. He's definitely the fastest this weekend, not only for one lap after seeing him beating the records of the track, he's the fastest rider in fighting as well. So when we're looking for a favorite to win tomorrow's Grand Prix, this is Jorge Martin. This is our hero, I think hero of every MotoGP fan, Dani Pedrosa, and super happy KTM team. What a job by Dani Pedrosa. He hasn't been regular rider in MotoGP for 4 years. Finished his career after with Honda, and then getting picked up by KTM, and wow, what a life of Dani Pedrosa.
And that is going to mean a lot to him as well, being congratulated by the team there, because he didn't have a great end to the career, as you said, as well. And now with the KTM, he's really built that team up with Binder and Miller as well. The dreams that they've had. And everyone thought last year when Miller said, I'm leaving the Ducati, I'm going to KTM, everyone thought, oh, risky. But KTM, they've worked hard and they are a top team. And I think this weekend is showing.
Help as well, because in the end, Dani Pedrosa is a tested rider. Without Dani Pedrosa's help, we wouldn't see those KTM wins in Austria, for example. Like KTM getting on, like great Binder's win in 2021 in Austria. I was there, and we are absolutely astonished. All this KTM pace is by the help of Dani Pedrosa.
Absolutely, and Pedrosa. Oh, that's Bagnaia looking a bit winded, doesn't he?
He looks beaten up, absolutely.
And it's 26 laps tomorrow as well, Julie. That's going to be insane. But he is so, I think, he's gingerly getting off the bike. And to the cheer of the crowd, that's going to help him. I think as well, to come back this early, I think we're seeing a new generation of determined youngsters coming through. Riders 6, 21, 36 and 44 have been given a 3-second penalty for failing to comply with the long lap penalty. So the timing screens will adjust shortly. Oh, yeah. Go on.
Do you believe that? Oh my god, that is absolutely... it hurts my soul, to be honest. But yeah, this is the thing of nowadays racing and youngsters as well. In MotoGP, with Superbikes and any other series, and also in Speedway, like one of the Polish riders literally was driven into on the track. I was on that track, I saw that live. He was driven into, this guy broke his leg. He had a broken leg, which normally you put in a stabilizer for 6 weeks and you can move around. This guy was back racing for his team, Sparta Wrocław, on a bike, just 3 weeks later in getting points with a broken leg. He said that it's for him, it's easier to ride on a speedway bike than walk. And he's still doing that.
I couldn't do it. I'm moaning about having, twisted ankle every now and then as well. And how on earth these gladiators can do it? They are the best in the world. As Aleix Espargaro watches on, he finished that race down in 8th position.
When we see all those riders, being covered in sweat after riding so many laps, or even as the speedway riders, 4 laps, but more than 100 kilometers per hour without brakes, then we see true gladiators, to be honest. Yeah, like Ty Wolfenden the last time. Oh wow, that was a close one. Ooh. That was a close one. Ooh.
That was Aleix diving on Mark early on in the race, so that was...
Oh, like we've seen Ty Wolfenden last time. Great British rider, broken his hand in the last GP in Cardiff, and going to the bar, get a drink, and then for the next day to the doctor.
Bar, drink, yeah. Hang on, more penalties coming through. Yeah, 6, 21, 36, 44. So that is Bradl, Morbidelli, Mia, and Pol Espargaro all getting time penalties, and that'll adjust in a second. They've had to put that back up. Okay, Simon Crafar.
Another great job by Honda.
Yeah. Simon Crafar's standing by. Let's hand over to hear from Bagnaia.
I think we're going to hear from Pecco Bagnaia. See what he's got to say.
For what you've been through from last Sunday to now, what a job. Give us your thoughts.
It's something incredible, I think. Considering the situation, the pain I feel when I'm riding, is incredible. Being third today is such an incredible job, so we are just to be happy. The feeling during the race wasn't the best, but in any case, I'm always happy to be in the podium, and I want to say congratulations to Jorge that did an incredible job, but let's see tomorrow for sure. For today, I just want to enjoy.
Amazing effort, congratulations.
Amazing effort.
Yeah, absolutely amazing from Bagnaia. I think definitely a star performance, and he held off the 2 KTM so well, Julia.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Great job, Pecco Bagnaia, because we've seen that. Like 75% of the sprint, Dani Pedrosa was sitting on his rear tire, and really trying to overtake you. And Pecco Bagnaia, hold on, and now let's hear from Marco Bezzecchi. He's really happy and getting the crowd hyped up.
You told me how painful that hand was. What a ride. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it was very difficult. But, we are in Misano and I had to keep myself strong to give a good show to the fans.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you.
Man of small words there for Marco Bezzecchi, but he's enjoying the crowd and that thumb still hurting.
He's also injured, so honestly, this year with the sprints, we haven't seen a fully healthy grid from the beginning of the season.
Well, we've done.
We have replacements all the time.
What is it? Now we've done more races than ever. 23 races in a year already. Tomorrow takes it to 24. And we've still got, what was it, 42 in total? It's a lot, isn't it, to get it done? I'm surprised we're not seeing more injuries.
To be honest, I don't believe that from the first Grand Prix, we had a full grid of contracted riders. I do believe that everyone we had a replacement.
Let's hear from Jorge Martin. You're right there, Julia.
Jorge, what a weekend so far. Pole position lap, one of the best I've ever seen, and leading from start to finish.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to give my condolences to all the family of Mike Trimby. He passed away today, and I'm very sorry for them. And then, today was a great day, pole position with record, and then I expect a bit more difficult the first laps, and then Marco pushed a lot to me. I had to be at the limit all the time, to the absolute limit, and I'm so happy to win today. Hopefully tomorrow we improve a little bit, and I feel even stronger.
Awesome, and congratulations.
Grazie, ciao a tutti.
Actually, Julie, I'm going to up you on that. We have not had a full field of contracted riders in a single race this year, because Paul got injured in practice 2. So, yeah.
Oh, yes, that's true. So from the beginning of the season.
Yeah. That's terrifying. That is really bad that we haven't had a single contracted rider taking part.
Yeah. Especially like this year, I don't know, it's, of course, Paul practiced 2. Unfortunately, terrible injury, it could happen, and it happens. But then with the sprints and the chaos and sprints, one of the first injuries we had from the sprints. And so then, as we said, this season, no only contracted riders. We always had some kind of replacement, or we had a missing rider on a grid. So, yeah, kind of terrifying compared to last season.
I think we must have had it closer to near about 30 to 40 riders this year across everything. I would love to know the official number. I don't know myself, but we've had quite a lot.
So we would have to look. Probably would have to look at the championship standing, but because they should also include the rider replacements like Pirot, Lecuona, and all the other riders who took part in the place of the rest.
I'm having a look, but it could take a second or two because how the new website is on MotoGP. It's quite hard to navigate. Why change it mid-season? I don't know. We don't have live timings for part of the British Grand Prix on the weekend, but we're getting there. There's Jorge Martin then taking up with his gold medal, a third sprint race win of 2023. Nicely done as well. And now, as ever, it will be champagne time. Not the best idea, considering we're in about 20 minutes' time. We've got a Moto E race, and then you're going to have loads of stickiness down there just after the line, but hey-ho, it's what they like to do as they get into it. Right, Catalonia. Oh, BT have gone to a break. Right, Catalonia, championship results, if I can get down to it. Championship results, and then we need the season stats, event results, riders all time, nation stats. Oh, where is it? World standing, here we go. It takes ages to find these documents now. It used to be in a nice little PDF folder. Right.
Yeah, and in World Superbikes we do have still a PDF. And Dorna is also a chief of World Superbikes. I hope they won't change it.
29. And with what we've had here this weekend with Takashai, that's 30 riders we've had in the MotoGP Challenge this year. 30.
Yeah, Pirot was already replacing someone. I think so.
Hang on, let me have a look. Okay, then in case it could be 31. I'm not seeing Pirot on the... Was Pirot at the Italian Grand Prix?
Because I remember someon else. I remembered someone else because Petrucci was here. For Ducati.
And Folger too. Yeah, Pirot did the Italian Grand Prix. And Pirot did America and Italy. And now he's done San Marino as well. And Petrucci was here at the French Grand Prix, yeah, as you say. So they've all been here. Okay, then, Julia, what did you make of the sprint race? And I'm gutted you can't be here tomorrow, but you're off to an actual speedway event, so I suppose you've got to cover that as well. But what did you make of the sprint?
I think it was a fun race. Of course, to be honest, kind of like we've seen of the last races, Ducati is still in front. Big shout out to Pecco Bagnaia for what he could do. Jorge Martin just proved that he's the fastest rider this weekend, definitely, and that he deserves his second place in the championship. He's gonna fight for it, and he's gonna fight Bagnaia. Absolutely outstanding, Dani Pedrosa, and I'm so happy, and I'm really, really confident on his podium. I would love to see that. I think every one of us would love to see that. There is a still chance tomorrow for that.
Pick a winner? Or is it too early? It's got to be. You're going to say Martin, aren't you?
We still have a great network show later on, so I think, guys, you should turn up for the show. Then we're gonna do a pick a winner, and you're gonna hear final picks for tomorrow's winner.
Julia, thank you very much once again for being in the commentary box. Welcome back anytime you like, anytime you got a free weekend. So that's it then for the sprint. Next up, it's the final Moto E race of the year, an IndyCar Practice 2 and qualifying coming up later on tonight. Tomorrow, Moto 3 and Moto 2, followed then by the MotoGP race and the final IndyCar Grand Prix of 2023. So a lot of seasons wrapping up, but the championship in MotoGP just halting up. Martin winning again for the third time in a sprint. Can he do the double like he did at the German Grand Prix and deny some points for Bagnaia? We'll find out tomorrow. My thanks to you, Julia. My thanks to all of you at home. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.